Rain turning to snow in Denver.
Tonight I'm tracking how much snow we're going to get and how it will impact your morning drive.
Rebuilding after the Marshall Fire.
Lots of work that's been going on, a lot of really exciting efforts.
Boulder County laying out steps to speed up its recovery.
Saved from horrific conditions.
They were obviously kept in unsanitary conditions, so they were just super dirty. They needed a bath.
Tonight, dogs rescued from an Arapahoe County apartment are ready to find new homes.
The Russell Wilson era begins in Colorado. The Broncos introduce their new quarterback. Plus, where a Broncos legend will be playing next season. And the Rockies add a former MVP.
Bryant hits a high drive, left center field. This one is gone.
And we begin tonight with the rain falling here in the Mile High City.
This is a beautiful live look from a soggy Lincoln Street in Denver. Soon, this rain will turn to snow.
Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson tracking this latest round of winter weather. Mike?
The rain is turning to snow quickly now up in Boulder. This is the view on the Pearl Street Mall. Just seeing those big fat snowflakes appearing just in the last 10 minutes or so as temperatures start to fall. Dropping down to 36 in Boulder and Broomfield. Still around 40 at Chatfield Reservoir, 36 downtown. But look at the colder temperatures off to the west. That's where the snow has already begun to fall heavily. There's kind of the rain-snow line developing. It's going to quickly spread across the state during the night tonight and continue into tomorrow morning. So this is what it looks like across the state at the moment. We do have the winter weather advisories in the purple. Winter storm warnings for the Denver area until noon tomorrow in the pink color. And this is what it looks like for your tomorrow morning plans. Rain to snow across almost all of the I-25 corridor by midnight. Heavy wet snow falling overnight through the morning hours. A slow commute for Thursday morning. And I think with the snow kind of sticking around tomorrow, the afternoon drive will also be impacted. And beyond that, there is more snow, a second storm coming up in the 7-day forecast.
All right, Mike, we'll see you in a little bit with more. And it's going to be a tag team effort tomorrow morning on Denver 7 News. Meteorologists Lisa Hidalgo and Stacey Donaldson both here tracking snowy conditions. Coverage begins at 4:30 a.m. on Denver 7 and 7 a.m. on Local 3.
Discussing next steps in the Marshall Fire recovery. Tonight, Boulder County is laying out a plan that officials hope will help speed things up.
Now, so far, the process has been so frustrating for those who lost their homes. Tonight, Denver 7 Sloan Dickey is taking us through the county's plan to get them back home.
We really look forward to helping each property owner navigate the process.
The cleanup and rebuilding process after the Marshall Fire, slowed and often stalled, made a major step forward on Wednesday as the county laid out its plan for fast-tracking the rebuilding process.
Really excited to get input on the regulations today and ultimately really to get these regulations adopted and help expedite the rebuilding process for the folks that have been impacted by the fire.
In an online meeting, Boulder County commissioners laid out several key steps in helping residents build homes on the lots destroyed by the fire. The plan is to allow residents to build back to the same standards with minimal permitting, or to build to new, more energy-efficient standards with assistance from the county. The county is also dedicating a representative to every displaced resident to help them navigate the rebuilding process.
We'll be prioritizing all of these rebuilds and giving that individualized attention to each person. Those rebuilding coordinators will be assigned as soon as we have the adopted Article 19 regulations in place.
The rebuilding process has been significantly slowed over the nearly 3 months since the Marshall Fire by contract negotiations and deliberations between the cities. The county was also hamstrung by a lawsuit brought on by former FEMA head Michael Brown, alleging violation of open meeting laws in selecting a company for the county's fire cleanup process. Brown just dropped the request that a judge blocked the cleanup work.
We've just sort of been stuck in neutral while they've been negotiating, and finalizing that contract took a lot longer than I thought it should.
City leaders in Superior and Louisville say they're ready to move forward, a sentiment echoed by residents as well.
I would hope by late summer, according to the city's timeline, that the debris removal is done so that we can start rebuilding.
And the most crucial next step in this process is the implementation of that county-wide cleanup plan. Officials I spoke with say they hope this is a reality in the next few days. And
All right, Sloan, thank you for that. And efforts to clean up the Marshall Fire debris have cleared one hurdle that was slowing the recovery. A group questioning Boulder County's bidding process says they will no longer stand in the way of the county signing a contract with a debris removal company. However, the group still wants to question county commissioners over how they selected a contractor. And the county could sign its contract as soon as next week.
A Colorado Springs woman now charged in the death of a high school student there who overdosed on fentanyl. Federal prosecutors say Alexis Wilkins sold a fentanyl pill to 2 teenage girls at Citadel Mall in December. The next day, those girls shared the pill with another student at Mitchell High School. That girl began to overdose during class, taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Wilkins is charged with distributing fentanyl resulting in death. She could face up to 20 years in prison.
A woman accused in a suspected road rage shooting is now in custody. Commerce City police say Destiny Edwards was arrested this evening by members of the FBI Safe Streets Task Force and Adams County Sheriff's Department. Investigators say Edwards shot another woman after their vehicles crashed last Thursday morning. She's now facing a charge of attempted murder. And we asked Commerce City police for an update on the victim's condition, and so far we have not heard back. 10 dogs now have a new lease on life. We were the first to bring you this exclusive story showing them being rescued from horrific conditions.
Well, now a local woman is charged with animal cruelty, and while that criminal case plays out, Denver 7's CB Cotton answers a question we've all been wondering. How are the dogs now?
It's pure joy when a dog finds its new home here at the Aurora Animal Shelter. And this dog is one of 10 that'll soon embark on the emotional experience that is adoption.
Most of them are very highly adoptable dogs.
Just 3 weeks ago, the dogs, 5 puppies and 5 full-sized ones to be exact, were living in horrific conditions inside an Arapahoe County apartment. Body camera video obtained exclusively by Denver 7 shows how the dogs were being kept. Officers were called to the scene after the dog owner reported being bit. The deputy who responded recounted what he witnessed.
There was feces and urine throughout the floor. There was blood throughout the apartment.
The dogs, a mix of pit bull and mastiff, were seized, and a 34-year-old woman was issued a summons charging her with 10 counts of misdemeanor animal cruelty. In the body camera video, the woman implied she'd been selling the puppies for money.
I could say that somebody wanted to buy one. No, he already paid.
Since the ordeal, the puppies and dogs have been recovering at various animal shelters, including the one here in Aurora.
They were obviously kept in unsanitary conditions, so they were just super dirty. They needed a bath. We did give them all of their vaccines when they arrived, which they likely had none of. A couple of them were a little thin.
As the dogs continue to get the care they need, they'll go up for adoption across the Denver metro.
Right now we have a lot of dogs, so we like to transfer dogs to other shelters if they have space available for adoptable dogs and we don't have the room here.
The timeline for when each dog will be put up for adoption isn't planned out, but those who've encountered the dogs say they've been nothing but gentle.
So immediately I noticed that all the dogs were really sweet, really nice. I had no issues with any of the dogs.
They would really benefit from some training, but overall they're just super sweet, really social and playful dogs.
And because of that playful nature, hopefully soon these dogs will encounter the joy of finding a new forever home. CB Cotton, Denver 7.
For the first time, President Biden is calling Russian President Vladimir Putin a war criminal.
Oh, I think he is a war criminal. Will you be meeting with him?
That comment followed a press conference in which the president initially said no when asked if Putin is a war criminal, and he then circled back with that reporter to clarify the question. Now, before President Biden spoke, members of Congress heard directly from the president of Ukraine. President Zelensky once again pleaded for the U.S. and NATO to put a no-fly zone over his country. And while that remains out of the question, the U.S. is sending more military aid. That includes anti-aircraft weapons, guns, missiles, drones, and millions of rounds of ammunition. Meanwhile, we are getting a picture of the damage Ukrainian forces are inflicting on their Russian invaders. According to the New York Times, U.S. intelligence officials believe more than 7,000 Russian troops have been killed in the 21 days of fighting. And for context, that is greater than the number of U.S. troops killed in more than 20 years of fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan.
All right, here we go. The Russell Wilson era is officially underway in Denver. After years of poor play from the quarterback. Today, the Broncos introduced their new field general.
Denver 7 Sports reporter Nick Rothschild is here with what we heard from the team's new leadership. And this is a new Broncos era, Nick.
Yeah, you're totally right. And head coach Nate Hackett called Russell Wilson the literal Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of what he wants in a quarterback. That's high praise. He also cursed, and I think he giggled at one point. But as for Wilson, he said all the things you'd want to hear from your starting quarterback, right? The guy is obsessed with winning, he's competitive as heck, and he hopes to play another 10 to 12 years, all right here in Denver. I, for one, was curious about why he chose Denver over perhaps other NFL cities. He did have a no-trade clause, after all. Wilson cited a connection to the Mile High City he forged during draft visits, but said his main reason was pretty simple. It's the best place for him to win.
Denver was a place that has meant a lot to me over the years, but to know that this is a winning football team, you know, if I was gonna waive my no trade clause, you know, it had to be to a winning football team. These guys are winners back here, and so I'm excited about it. It's a winning locker room, so it's about the players. You know, it's about the players. It's about obviously a great coaching staff and the organization, but the players, we help get it done, and that's what I was excited about.
As if the Wilson news wasn't enough to handle for one day, Von Miller tried to sneak a fast one by us. A fast one to the tune of 6 years, $120 million. Miller is signing on with the Buffalo Bills. And just like Leslie Mann and the 40-year-old virgin, that one came out of nowhere. Miller's deal is worth $45 million guaranteed at signing, and he'll be chasing his third ring with his third team. That's only been done by one other player in football history, Matt Millen, with the Raiders, 49ers, and Washington. So, Miller to Buffalo. No one saw that one coming.
It's a big day. All right, Nick, thank you. So let's go in depth now on what the Broncos are getting versus what they are moving on from. So since the post-Peyton Manning era began in 2016, 11 Broncos quarterbacks have combined to throw 114 touchdowns. Well, during that same period, Russell Wilson threw 186 touchdowns. Now, by the way, Wilson also only missed 3 games during his 10 seasons in the NFL.
And listen, if you are looking to add Russell Wilson to your Broncos jersey collection, you can now order one right now through the Broncos fan shop on the NFL's website. Also, I called and checked. You can also find them at the team shop, team store. They're on the south side of Empower Field. From rock star to movie star.
There's like chainsaws and fake blood everywhere, and it's, you know, everyone's possessed.
Tonight, we're talking to Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl about his newest project.
Plus, it's not just the Broncos making major league moves. The star player signing a massive contract with the Rockies.